Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Is AI really of any value for a new author writing a book, or even for an experienced author? Well, today you're going to find out that our guest today, Allison McBain, actually wrote 34 books in 34 weeks without AI. Allison, please join me up here on stage.
Hi, Red. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to have you here. 34 books in 34 weeks. That's the moniker that when I start doing some research on you pops up constantly. Tell us a little bit about that adventure.
Well, it's a project that started when AI first hit the scene, and a lot of creatives, whether they were writers, artists, musicians, etc., they were all like, "What is this program? What is it going to do to my industry?" So I sort of wanted to reassure a lot of authors who were coming out, especially new authors, who weren't sure about what AI would mean for them writing a book. So I started this project to show that human endeavors can always trump what these computer programs can do, and I still believe in that for sure.
Okay, what kind of genres were these 34 books in?
Pretty much every genre. So I had everything from science fiction to fantasy to literary, a collection of short stories, romance, you name it, I probably wrote it.
Okay. And this was not only writing the book, but getting it published in a pretty quick fashion too. Is that right?
Well, it was just writing the book. So every writer knows a first draft is usually not a last draft. You usually have a lot of editing, and you go through several drafts afterwards before it ever hits the bookshelves. So some of those drafts are now starting to come out after editing for the past year. So yep, a couple just came out, and there will be more on the horizon.
Okay, so you wrote the book literally in a week, and you started a new book next week, and the week after that you started another book. In the meantime, you're writing new books, you're editing old books, you're trying to market the current books that are coming out. So kind of give me your brain thought as to, okay, I'm writing this one now, but I still have to edit something that's already been written, and whatever books I already have out, I got to keep those marketing. So from a business perspective, this sounds like almost a small nightmare, but you have to have some level of discipline and organization to know what you're doing. So a typical day of Allison writing and editing and marketing goes like what?
Well, any author knows whether you are published by the Big Five or you're self-published or somewhere in between. It is a juggling act. So as you said, there's a lot of marketing involved, and a lot of it is not direct marketing, like, putting an ad in, on a website. A lot of it is giving talks, doing workshops. But yeah, a part of it is just putting your work out there, finding your readership, and then maintaining that relationship. With each new book that comes out, you want to make sure that you're not just finding new readers, but also bringing old readers that have enjoyed some of your previous works with you into the future. So I think it's all about momentum and keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, that's an interesting word, momentum, because once it does go, it's fairly easy to maintain. But you get disrupted by something and you get out of sync, and the momentum slows down or stops, and that interruption sometimes is very difficult to get past. And so you may have, okay, 15 weeks in a row, whatever, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks happen and your world is different. And then, okay, now and getting back into that routine sometimes is difficult. And I'm sure, like you, it happens to all of us. What is, do you have any secret sauce, or how do you get started again once everything is discombobulated?
Well, definitely after my project, the 34 books, I was a bit tired. So I gave myself permission to take a break. And that is also important. Your mental health as a writer or any sort of creative really should take precedence. Because the books will still be there at the end. They will still be there waiting for you, no matter if you jump right into editing and marketing them, or if you give them a couple weeks, a couple months to sit there and really percolate in your head. Um, so really, I would say that making sure that you look out for number one is very important for anyone who's doing a project big or small.
Okay, so you are your own personal caregiver.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, as an author, you're doing everything else too. You're the marketer. Sometimes you're the publisher if you're self-publishing. But yeah, and you're your best advocate too.
Okay,
So really believing in your work is important.
so you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a marketer, you own a small press. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, so my small press is called Fairfield Scribes, and we publish anthologies of various authors in addition to putting out a monthly magazine called Scribes Micro. And we also run an annual writing contest with larger cash prizes for writers. And we reward the top 18 placements for that contest. And we're now in our fourth year for that. So, wearing a lot of hats in there too. But the overarching theme, I think, is helping other writers, especially new writers. I think one of the proudest things that we've done is last year's contest. When I was reaching out to contact the contest winners, our top gold winner actually said, "This is my first publication." And I can't tell you what a wonderful feeling that was to really launch another writer's career with such a great start. It was humbling and it was wonderful.
And you also ghostwrite too. That's something that I found interesting because you have what, over 2 dozen books you've ghostwritten for other people in various genres.
Yeah, definitely. So, there's again a lot of hats. But I think the overarching theme is just staying creative. So sometimes it's writing your own stories and sometimes it's helping others. As I was just saying about my press, helping others get their stories out there too. And ghostwriting is sort of like that. Ghostwriting is pretty much helping authors find completion for their work when sometimes they can't themselves.
Okay, you just had a couple books recently published. Why don't we talk about those to give credit for the work that you've done?
Yeah, definitely. So, two of my books just came out. One is a collection of short stories, science fiction stories, called "Diving into Nebulae," and the other one is a novella, which is called "Between North and Prior," and that's a literary paranormal story about a mom and her daughter.
Okay, the those are two different genres and completely, right?
Completely different, yeah.
When you're writing, say, sci-fi or romance or young adult or whatever, how do you keep your mindset that it's this is the storyline? Do you have a an outline you're going from, or is it all in the brain? Do you have a picture board? How do you keep yourself centered?
Oh, 100%. I am a plotter. I do outlining and character sketches. I do lots and lots of background work before I even start a book. It's sort of like a roadmap, helping you figure out where you need to go. For me, especially because it's a business, I really want to make sure that I'm not wasting time, going off on creative tangents that later have to be reworked in order to get the book to publication. I want to do as little work as I possibly can to fix it after I've written it, so that it is ready for readers to get in their hands.
How many books do you have right now in foreign languages?
I don't have any actually.
Okay.
That is an unexplored market, I think, and hopefully something in the future. I was just talking to actually a German translator who was interested in maybe translating some of my works, but nothing set in stone yet.
Yeah, I understand that when you start getting in that market, that's another world entirely, uh, with the intellectual property and this and that. There's so many different aspects that, oh, I just get to translate in Spanish, no big deal. It is a big deal. It is a big deal because there's so many things that, as a, what's the term, sticky wicket, that can happen, and you really need to be aware of them well ahead of time. So, audiobooks, how are you doing on those?
I don't have audiobooks yet. It's not, again, as something that I am planning on pushing out into, hopefully in the near future. But yeah, it's something that I am hopefully going to have humans. I know there's a lot of AI audiobooks right now, and I'm very cautious of those,
Mhm.
just because I want to make sure that, I wrote it, I'm a human. I would like someone to narrate it who is also a human. So yeah, I know other authors who have actually had their audiobooks narrated by AI, and I'm not a big fan of that, really
Well,
myself.
there's some AIs that'll take your voice and you can't tell the difference. You give them like 5 minutes of your conversation, and they have it down pat as far as, you know, is that Allison or is it Memorex? I mean, it's one of those kind of things. It's interesting. So, are you totally shunning AI, or do you use it for any research or anything else?
I tend to keep it out, and there is a number of reasons, aside from the idea that I prefer human created things. Um, More and more publishers are pushing back against AI, as are readers. So there are publishers where they will say in their submission guidelines, if AI is used in any part of the process, from research to developing the idea to editing it, not just the writing, they will not accept it. So really, and this is something that I advise authors that I'm working with. I'm not saying don't use AI if that is something that you want to use, but it can shut doors. And I'm always of the opinion that shutting any sort of doors, any sort of opportunity, closing yourself off from that is doing yourself a disservice.
Well, I think it depends on. I use AI a lot because I write what happens in the body at the molecular level, cellular level, and so I need a lot of research before I write anything. And so I usually ask the questions of two or three different AI, so I have different opinions of what's happening there. But the editing, we've been using spell check for decades, grammar check, and Grammarly nowadays has about 10 or 12 different AI functions. So if I'm going in there and I want to know, here's a statement. Is there a citation? Is there a medical, National Institute of Health or something? Is there something there that will substantiate that as the statement has backing? And so I use AI to do that. But I found that even when I do that, I then hit the next button that says fact check. And it goes and does a fact check and says, yeah, that's true. Or, nope, that fact check, that citation you just quoted doesn't exist, or it doesn't exist in the context that you're having. So I use it kind of as a cross check there. And I also use it for a plagiarism check. And I tell people periodically, I came across one time where they said, you're plagiarizing a guy named Red O'Laughlin. Uh, and, and I thought that was kind of funny at the time. But I use it, but I don't use it to generate my the value that I'm offering. But I also use it a lot, almost all the time for generating videos, 60-second videos. Use it for generating slides for shows and stuff. But I find it to be of almost immense. I find it to be immensely valuable to me for the way I'm working. And as a not a brain trust, what do you call it? Brainstorming uh, tool to ask something about this or that or whatever. I find it to be so for your genres and stuff. It might help in some, a little bit depends. I think it would certainly help in any kind of video that you would like to do for your books, as far as the trailer goes, because those things. Notebook is the one. It used to be called Notebook LM. It's now called Gemini Notebook, and it has a short video function. You put a chapter of your book in there, and it'll give you a video of that chapter or the whole book. It's interesting how fast it generates them too. Just for thought.
Yeah, I definitely know authors who are using AI for what I call sort of supplemental purposes. So, as you mentioned, marketing
Mhm.
is one thing that the authors I know who are using AI have used it for. So, videos, they do it for, blog posts, advertisements. So, they do it for all the sort of background work. Um, I'm still old school for myself. And
Yeah,
that's okay. There's going to be people who are on both sides of the issue, you know.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
And it's a tool. I mean, your toolbox may not carry it right now, but 5 years from now, you never know. Uh, because, as you say, in the marketing end of things, it's a real time saver. It really and truly is.
True. And I mean, I don't go as far. So when I'm writing my stories, I do type on the computer, for example. But I know writers who always write their first draft in longhand.
Oh
And to
wow,
me, that my mind boggles because I'm like, I could never do that myself,
yeah,
right? But there's all levels
yeah.
of writer, from ones who are using these newest tools and ones who are going back to pen and paper and writing out their first drafts. So, yeah, there's a huge amount of creativity and it exhibits in all sorts of ways.
Okay, so when you're helping, let's say, rattle off like gives you a call on the phone and says, "Allison, I need help. Yeah, I'm stuck in the middle of this book. I need to get it finished because I want it out by Christmas." Uh, how do you help somebody like that? You kind of run me through the scenario in your mind as to how you would help an author.
Well, I determine what they need first. So if they want my help as a writing coach, I can definitely help them write up an outline, do a writing schedule, etc. If they want my help as a ghostwriter, then again, I would be the one doing that. I would be writing up the outline, schedule and checks, and also allow time for editing the final draft. If they want me just as an editor and say, okay, I'm going to finish this on my own, and then I would step in and help them with the editing the drafts and make sure that we get it out on time. So it depends what hat I'm wearing
Okay.
in any determined. But this is one reason why I guess I sort of do it all, because to me, the end product is the author themselves. It's not necessarily the one book I work on with them, because I might be working on a whole series of books for them. I might be working on 10 books for them. So for me, it's making sure that we meet those authors' goals, and I have the capacity to be able to step in and help them out however they need that help.
Okay. So you're an accountability partner all the way up to publishing the book for them.
Oh, sometimes, yes. So, yeah, it's definitely a partnership when I work with authors.
What lessons have you learned since you wrote 34 books in a row? And I'm sure you're still probably learning lessons from those 34 books. Uh, because as you start editing through those and you start changing, you're okay. I haven't seen this book now in 6 weeks, and you pick it up and oh my goodness, did I say that? And you start okay. So what are some of the things you kind of learned that you're typing, you know, immensely fast and lots of words in a week? What is there any repetitive thing that you're seeing in your style of writing that you have now? Okay, I did that in the first 3 books. I'm not going to do that again. What kind of self corrective things have you seen on your own writing?
Oh, definitely. There are always themes that authors approach, and they come up over and over again. For myself, I very consciously know what themes I am putting into each book, although sometimes some others creep in, right? But I was lucky enough to myself early in my writing career get the services of a wonderful writing coach who helped me sort of go over what I am putting into each book. And since then, I am consciously putting those themes in. So, for example, I love to speak about diversity because I myself am from a diverse background. I often speak about dual worlds because I am both a Canadian and US citizen. I grew up sort of between two worlds. Um, And yeah, there are a lot of different themes that I knowingly put into my stories. However, having said that, there are also some where I'm like, okay, I can't write about this again. I've had a couple stories published where the main character is a writer, and to me that gets sort of boring after a while, because I'm like, okay, yes, you are supposed to write somewhat what you know, but how many stories about writers can there be? So there are some things I definitely avoid when I'm planning a new book.
Yeah, my biggest epiphany was I had a bunch of people over the house, doing a read of my book and editing, and one of the guys wrote on there, "You sure use the word if a lot," uh, and I and he says it'd probably be a lot stronger with you using the word when. And so I went in there, I did a search, and I had 84, 87 uses of if, and I think 82 of them were really changed to when. You know, if you're doing this, beware. When you're doing this, beware. A totally different perspective, and that was one of the ones I learned. I still have a problem with. I'll type if, but I know I'll go back and catch it. But anyway, we're getting close to break time. In fact, a little bit over. When we come back, I want to talk about covers and see how you get your covers generated and go from there. So we'll be back in about a minute and a half.
What if many of the problems we associate with aging are not random? What if there are identifiable causes behind declining energy, chronic disease, and memory problems? We have been told that aging is simply something we must accept, that slowing down is normal, that growing older means growing weaker. But what if that's only part of the story? Why do some people remain active and engaged well into their later years? Why do others struggle with disease, fatigue, and declining health? What is happening beneath the surface? What processes drive aging? In Aging Sucks, researcher, educator, and author Red O'Loughlin explores what researchers have discovered about why we grow older. No medical degree required, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations of what researchers have discovered about the processes that influence aging. You cannot stop aging, but understanding its causes may help you make better decisions about your health, your future, and your quality of life. Because understanding comes before action. Action creates hope. Aging sucks. End the guesswork. There is hope.
Brett O'Loughlin here, one of the wise ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. My guest today is award-winning, very prolific author, Allison McBain. Allison, please join me again. Okay, before the break, I said we'd kind of venture into the area of titles, covers. So your first few books versus your last few books, has anything changed with your cover design?
I think that because I write in a lot of genres, it's sort of hard to see a trend over time because each cover is individually produced to market to that particular genre. So, for example, when I was writing an alternate history where the main character is Asian, it had a lot of elements that you would find in Asian artwork. It was a lot of reds and blacks and whites. The colors held significance. But, in one of my latest books, Between North and Prior, the cover, reflects the characters inside. And it's a mom and a daughter who go on this journey together through, grief and healing. So the cover is much darker and has more flourishes because it is, it's sort of in the genre of women's fiction. So yeah, each cover does or should broadcast what what ride you're going on for the book itself.
Was there any personal experiences you had with the grief and healing that helped you write the book?
Well, the main character, so it's a bit of a tough story, and everyone who's read it so far has said that the story has made them cry, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but it did its job. So the main character, the mom, she loses her daughter to cancer. And what happens is the daughter comes back as a ghost, and it redefines their relationship and what it means to navigate grief. Well, I have not had a ghost in my life. And thank goodness all my kids are still here. I have had a number of people very close to me have to go through a journey of cancer, as many of us have, and it is something that is a very tough journey and something that you don't get over right away, if at all. So I think I pulled a lot of personal experience into how I wrote the character, how I wrote how she reacts and how she moves on from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My daughter's run into a couple of ghosts where she was working at a prison. One constantly pulled on her hair,
Oh my
and
goodness.
another one looked like an inmate walked right through a brick wall. So I wouldn't discount the ghosts totally. There are certainly a lot of stories out there that go with them. Uh, okay, so the I guess the company that's helping you produce your books, they are responsible for that cover generation, and they're
Actually, I designed the cover.
oh, you do. You're the company that designs the cover.
I'm the company. Again, I wear a hat.
So what kind of background do you have for cover design?
I am an artist myself.
Okay.
I do. I don't claim any great artistic talent, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. And all my kids are creative too, so we create together. Um, so while I did design the cover that is up on the screen, I did not do the artwork. That is a fabulous artist that I work with who designed and will design the covers for all my short story collections. And his name is Richard Ong, and he lives in Toronto. But yeah, so I love working with artists, and I love putting together the designs myself when I can. And I've worked with a number of fabulous publishers who, when I approach them with this, say, "Sure, yeah, that's fine." Saves us some work too. So I really enjoy working with artists and other creatives.
Uh, I'm trying to remember back, and I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you write on the walls, and your kids also help you? Is that
Oh yeah, you're right. Good memory.
yeah? Because I think we talked about that very briefly the last time, and it just when something clicked in there, and I wonder if she's the one.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, my kids are still drawing on the walls. They're older now by a couple years, but yeah, I definitely encourage it. And yeah, my oldest is about to go away to college,
Oh
and
wow!
well, not this year, but next year. So we're planning colleges and wants to go to art school. So I'm so super thrilled. I mean, most parents are like, "No, you have to be a lawyer or a doctor." I'm like, "Yes, an artist. Lovely."
No. Or a plumber.
Yeah, exactly, right.
You know, whatever they want to do, right?
Yeah.
And they may actually end up being a writer. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. That would be exciting.
Uh, of course, you could always start them out as an editor, and that would either make them or break them, one of the two.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough gig.
It is, because I know the longer I stay away from it, the easier it is to find things I need to pay attention to. But if I write something and I try to do even just a quick edit, I don't see it. But one of the best things I use is I have Word read it back to me, and I'm looking at it and I'm listening to it at the same time, and that I find to be very helpful because it either flows or it doesn't flow. And to me, that's a very valuable editing tool, at least for myself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I definitely recommend that to authors. Like if they can hear their work read aloud, it is wonderful, especially if they're not necessarily the ones reading it out loud, although reading it out loud yourself is also helpful because your eye will skip over those mistakes. And you have blinders on basically when it comes to your own work. So hearing it out loud, you hear all of those mistakes and all the things that you need to fix. And it's really, really helpful. I 100% agree with you.
Okay, let's go talk about marketing for a short while. We'll get back into the business aspect of Allison McBain. Uh, where do you market what types of books?
It really depends. So there are a number of really great social media channels, and you really need to know your market. I was working with an author recently, and essentially they were told, "Oh, you can market your book on TikTok. That's where all the new people are." But the person's book was a nonfiction medical type of book, and I was the first one to say this is not the right platform for you. TikTok is mostly for YA, romance, it is for, those younger type of fiction books. And he didn't know that. So really knowing your market and where to reach your readers is key, I think. And that is just one example.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to find you on social media, do you have a particular channel you favor or prefer or use a lot more than the others?
Not necessarily. So again, I pick and choose. So depending on what I'm working on at the moment or what I'm trying to put out there at the moment, I do think Instagram is really great for most general fiction. It's a great way to reach people, and especially if you're in the sort of behind the scenes work like I am with the editing and publishing, it's a great way to put out how-to videos. So and reach readers and writers. But all of them are good for different things. There are lots of wonderful webinars that talk about the different uh, ways to reach your audience. So I'm not going to go over all of those because it would take up the rest of the time we have here. But yeah, definitely do your research. I think that's the number one.
Do you also have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel. So again, yes, I'm on all the socials.
Okay.
And some are more active than others depending on what project I'm working on.
Okay. So you're out there, you're doing things, you're trying to keep everything. I mean, my marketing thing was working real well for a while, and life got in the way. And anyway, I'm starting to constitute it one more time. But sometimes, let's say that you have a science fiction book coming out, and May the 4th is one of those sci-fi day, May the Force be with you kind of thing. Do you ever try to coordinate a release of a book with some kind of national holiday?
Oh, I definitely have. So, for example, my Author versus AI project started on Global Book Day, which is, the global celebration of books. So, definitely when there's something that it ties in very strongly thematically to a holiday or sometimes even a month. For example, there are months that are, particularly tied to a certain diverse aspect. And it might fit a particular book or project that I'm working on. So, I definitely look at the calendar as part of that.
Okay.
Part of
So,
marketing. Yeah.
so
Use
there,
everything, basically. That's marketing. Use everything you can.
and so National Cancer Month or National Ghost Month would fit into a couple of your books without any difficulty.
Yes.
Okay. The Lost my train of thought there. Ready to ask a question. I was never mind. Let's just jump right back into wherever we're at. Okay, so you're marketing press releases is what I was going to ask. Do you use those much at all?
Yes, I have a wonderful publicist, Mickey Mickelson from Creative Edge, and he is wonderful at putting together press releases and sending them out. So I very much appreciate that. So yeah, he is a great part of my team in getting stuff out there for new releases.
You talked earlier about series of books. How many of your books are in a series that you pretty much say, okay, I'm going to probably write another book or two in the series down the road?
I do have one active series. I do have several series that are yet to be published. So the books are written. They were part of the Author versus AI project, and they will be coming out. Um, but I don't have a publication date for them yet. But I have written several series. One thing that I actually did for my ghostwriting often was I would be working with an author or a publishing company to complete books in a series. So that is where I definitely get a lot of experience from working in series and making sure that everything stays true throughout the different books.
That's interesting. That's kind of a different viewpoint from a ghostwriter that I had not been aware of before. But it certainly makes a lot of sense. Because I remember a couple of authors that I really loved to read. All of a sudden they disappeared, and you have to assume they died or something. But I remember in one, you got all the way to the end of the book, and all of a sudden, like in 30 pages, the book was finished. And I'm sitting, whoever finished the book did not do the author any justice. And I was really discombobulated is probably a good word. 'Cause I was really expecting something, and it wiped out everything like in just a few words. I was disappointed big time.
Well, you definitely want to do again, I think the theme of this theme of this episode, this show, is do your research. That is the number one thing that a ghostwriter should be responsible for, making sure that the series tone, the way the characters behave, how the story ends to leave a reader satisfied, hopefully, all fit the tone of previous books in the series. So when I'm stepping into a series like that, I definitely read all the books beforehand, make sure that I have character charts, make sure I, again, do my research and am able to complete that story, hopefully to the reader's satisfaction.
Allison, how do people get in touch with you? Do you have any book signings or speaking engagements? Anything coming up that we should know about?
Oh, definitely. So I am going to BoucherCon, which is in October, and that is the premier mystery and true crime convention for North America, where they give out the Anthony Awards. So I'll be doing a panel there. I'll be out and about speaking to readers and other writers. So that's coming up in October. But to get in touch with me or keep up with any events that I'm doing, definitely go to my website, which is AllisonMcBain.com. And I always like to emphasize Allison with one L.
Okay. So for our audio audience out there, Allison, Alison McBain. It's Allison A. McBain?
Nope, just Allison McBain.
Okay. Allison McBain, ALISON McBain, McBain.com. Allison, thank you so very, very much. Really and truly enjoyed our conversation today, and wish you the luck getting the rest of those 34 books out into the public's eye so you can continue on your magnificent, marvelous trip that you're doing, both as a business owner, an author, and a writer. So thank you so very much for your time today.
Oh, thanks for having me on. It was wonderful.
Take care. Rebel Laughlin here. We're wrapping up the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. Normally I have 3 shows on every Thursday, but today we're just doing 2. First one today is the Wise Ones. The next one's going to be the Corner Bookstore. I write nonfiction primarily in the area of longevity and age-related issues. My latest book is called Aging Sucks. It's a book that's really about what happens in the human body when you age. And I look at it very simply, that when your body is under attack every second of the day, your body has the ability to withstand those attacks and make repairs. So when attacks exceed the body's ability to repair it, you age, and you may age at an accelerated rate. But when your body is healthy, you have the necessary capacity to repair everything that's going on, and you're generally pretty healthy. And so from that perspective, that's what my book is about. It's about understanding and aging and what options you have. And with that, I'm going to leave you. So have a wonderful day. Enjoy, have fun, be safe, and don't let anybody steal your joy. Bye now.
Every great story begins with a vision. At USA Global TV and Radio for years, we've been providing world-class education, entertainment, inspiration, imagination, connections, and hope. Most people don't stay to watch the outro or the credits, but it's the people behind every success, behind every breakthrough, and behind every unforgettable story who matter. The TV show hosts, our guests, our sponsors, our publicists, our production team, our distribution team, our search engine optimization team, and so many more. You're the ones who make the difference. Every great story belongs to the people who bring it to life. Our future looks bright at USA Global TV and Radio, and that's because of you, our loyal fan base all around the world in more than 60 countries. Together, we're making a difference because you matter. USA Global TV and Radio, live streaming to over 60 countries. Voiceover, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Video production and direction, Paul Garcia. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV and Radio on YouTube.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.